All right, Coach. Not the result you wanted against William and Mary, but just what are some of your final takeaways from that game?
We started off doing some good things. Again, they're a good football team, very good football team. I think the first thing you look at is, okay, where are you recruiting wise? Where are you at depth wise? Where are you as far as just efficiency on the field, consistency and things like that? So, you play a game like that. I felt our guys were prepared to ready to play. But again, I think it goes back to, and I've said it in all these press conferences, you have six penalties. You have a turnover early, which we were able to kind of get by that because we made them punt and then we went down and scored. But, when you have penalties against good football teams, and when you had those penalties, all of them came at insufficient times where you thought, hey, we're about to maybe get on a roll, get moving, and you get a first down and you get a holding penalty. It brings it back. You get a 6-yard run to get in front of the chains, and then you get a false start. And so when you play those teams, and again, you try to preach it and you try to talk about it with your guys, but until it actually happens, hey, you're not going to be able to get away with this when you're playing good teams. And not that the other teams aren't good, I don't want to say that. But when you play a ranked team like William and Mary, who, they're vets, they're seasonal, you cannot do those things and expect you to have success. But again, at the end of the day, you do find, again, our defense, great goal line stance against our defense. In the second half, we did have spurts to move the football. And so, you look back and say, okay, yeah, they beat us, but then how much did we help them in the things that we didn't get accomplished? So, it's always, and I said it before, there's the good, bad, and uglies in those situations. I thought our guys, they were disappointed in how they performed. You didn't have to say. It was very, very quiet on the bus, very quiet on Saturday. I did have to remind them we are 3-2. We are 3-2, and get to play again this Saturday. So, but you can see their maturity of more of like, yeah, we let this one get away. We're not happy about our performance, and so we want to do something about that. And so as coaches and players, we came back and licked our wounds and said, okay, now we got the first taste of conference play. All right, we know what we have to do to be better this week.
I know you had lost before this season, but I'm wondering, is there a difference between coming back, the next week from a loss where it was only by 2 points and then a loss like the magnitude of last week?
We'll find out, Saturday. I think our guys from our first loss, and you're saying, man, we were on the doorstep to maybe win that football game, and things didn't go our way. And then this one, you're like, we were never in it. I can say yesterday's practice was probably one of the better practices that we've had. Guys were locked in, they were focused, they were communicating with each other, and so it was good to see, because again, it's that fine line. You don't want to get on them too much, but also there's some things that we need to fix and correct. And the way that they responded in practice yesterday, I was very pleased. Our staff was very pleased to see that. But again, ultimately, you won't know until we kick off on Saturday how that will impact us or not. Will they say, hey, it was what it was. Hey, we're back on track again, or you'll see that. And again, to see how they practiced yesterday, it wasn't pulling teeth and come on guys, let's go. There was great enthusiasm. Guys were eager to be back out there on the field, because again, I told our guys, we've all been in situations where it just wasn't your day. But how you respond, after that. And I thought they came out yesterday and responded well at practice.
The CAA is obviously a buzzsaw of a conference, and it sounds like you don't even have to. My question was going to be, do you kind of have to galvanize these guys to go, hey, we lost to a top 25 team last week. Now we got to turn around and play another top 25 team this week. But it sounds like, despite that, these guys are coming in ready to roll.
They are. And again, and maybe it's a little looser form, and I'll use that word, because you're playing a team that you really, William and Mary, you got guys that play with each other in high school, guys played against each other in high school. So you saw some chippiness at times on the field because there was that close proximity of guys knowing each other, and maybe you get too hyped up for a game like that because, hey, we played against you in high school, or we were teammates in high school, and now we're at two different places where maybe now you're playing a team from Rhode Island that you don't have a connection to, and so maybe you can just be more focused on, hey, we're just playing the game, not I'm playing my buddy.
I know the offense has performed relatively well this season. Obviously against William and Mary, punted 8 times, wasn't really able to get the ball rolling there. How much of that was lack of execution, or was it what William and Mary was doing on defense? Just what wasn't working?
Again, I think it goes back to the same thing. We had times where we would move it, and then all of a sudden you get a holding penalty, you get a false start. You got penalties in times where we were starting to kind of get ourselves moving, and then again, a team like that, when you're 2nd and 15, it's tough. It's already tough, and then you play an opponent like them, that's hard. So they did do some things that you like, man, they had a player that just beat our guy. But then there were a good amount of times in that game where it's like, man, we're right there, but we had this penalty, we had a false start, and it kind of sets you back. And again, when you play good teams like that, you can't have those setbacks. So I would say it was a combination of both.
What's your scout on Rhode Island?
Coach Fleming, and I've known Coach Fleming for a while. I coached his son at the University of Akron, and so I've known Coach Fleming. They're great coach. They're going to be a bend, don't break defense. Very stout inside. They got a nickel player that's probably 5'8", 180 pounds, but he's all over the place. And so then their 2 linebackers are solid football players. Offensively, they have 2 quarterbacks that they use at time. They've got a running back that they get the ball to, and then they spread it out. They have 3 receivers that probably are all within 2 or 3 catches from each other. One may have like 20, one has 18, one has 15. So they've got guys that they can get the ball to. But they want to run the football, and they're going to try to knock us off the ball and then get you committed to the run, and then be able to throw the ball to the guys on the outside. So it's going to be a great game. I tell these guys, I'm a huge boxing fan. This is going to be a 12-rounder. You look at their game against Holy Cross. They're losing with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go, and go down and score the winning touchdown. And then their game versus Long Island, same thing. Long Island goes down and scores. They come back and tie it up, and then they get the ball back with 4 minutes to go and go down and win the game. So again, we've been telling these guys aren't going to quit. They're not going to say, oh, we're down by 10, we're down by 7, we're down by 14. They're going to keep playing until it says 0-0-0 on the clock. So our guys got to know, hey, they're going to punch us. We got to punch. Who's going to? And when you get into that 4th quarter, who's going to have that extra punch left to finish it, because they're not going to quit and lay down. And so you can see that's the kind of style coach has always been. And, and that's what we got to gear our guys up for, that this is going to be a 4-quarter game, and no lead is going to be big enough to feel like you can relax or be satisfied.
I was looking at some of their defensive stats earlier. I think they were the number 5 red zone defense in the country. Is that something where when you come into it, is there any extra prep for your offense in that, or is it really just trying to, hey, we got to make the most of our opportunities?
The most of your opportunities. I think again for us, we work those things every week. So it's not going to be something new. Get down there, and that's the thing. You got to get down there. But again, you look at our defense. Norfolk State goal line stance, William and Mary goal line stance. We work those things. And so for us, let's get down there. We'll feel confident that we always have a good game plan, because normally when we're down there, we score. And so, it's understanding what they're trying to do schematically, when they get in the red zone. But we feel confident in what we do when we get down there, because, we practiced it constantly.
Now that you've had 5 games to kind of gauge it, how do you feel like using the balance of, Malcolm and Chris at quarterback has worked for you guys?
I mean, for us, it works for us. We don't put much thought in it, because we practice that way. There may be certain plays that we say, hey, let's see if he can do this because of this, and can he do this because of that. But at the end of the day, like I tell guys all the time, if we have, and I'm just throwing out numbers, 50 plays, 60 plays in practice, they're probably no more than 7 plays off of each other of getting reps. So it's not like one is getting, 80% and the other one is getting 20. It's really a balance, 50%, 56% here, 53% here. So they both get an equal amount of reps. So I think for our guys that that are out there playing with them, and as us coaches, it really doesn't faze us, because of the fact we know in practice they're getting almost equal amount of reps. So it's not like, oh man, he's in, but he only got 35% of reps this week, and they're basically even. So that the receivers, the offense, the defense, the coaching staff, we don't put a lot of thought into it, because that's just something we do every day at practice.